Welcome to BooTube Chronicles. It began with a single red rose. Lila found it lying on her doorstep one misty morning, its petals vivid and soft, droplets of dew clinging to it like tiny diamonds. There was no note, no explanation, just the rose. She assumed it was a gift, maybe from a neighbor or a secret admirer, though none came to mind. She placed it in a vase on her kitchen table, its beauty bringing an odd comfort to the room. The next morning, it was there again, another perfect red rose, identical to the first, lying in the exact same spot. Confused but intrigued, Lila added it to the vase. By the third morning, when the same rose appeared again, unease began to creep in. She checked her doorbell camera but found nothing. No delivery, no movement, just the rose inexplicably appearing. As the days passed, the roses kept coming. A chilling pattern began to emerge. No matter what she did, locking her door, staying up all night, even throwing the roses away, they would reappear, pristine and fresh, as though they had never been touched. One night, determined to break the cycle, Lila decided to leave her house entirely. She drove to the next town, checked into a motel, and stayed up watching TV, her heart pounding with anticipation. But when she woke the next morning, her stomach dropped. On the nightstand beside her bed was a single red rose. Terrified, she raced home, but something felt off. The streets were too quiet, the air unnaturally still. When she opened her front door, she gasped. The roses were everywhere, dozens of them. They lined her windowsills, spilled across the floor, and filled the kitchen table. Their deep crimson color vibrant against the pale walls. Panicked, she ran outside, only to stop dead in her tracks. The sky was gray, as though it couldn't decide whether it was dawn or dusk. Her street was empty. No cars, no neighbors, not even the sound of birds. She turned back toward her house, and that's when she noticed it. A figure standing in the garden. Dressed in black, it held a bouquet of red roses, its face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat. "Who are you?" Lila demanded, her voice shaking. The figure tilted its head, then stepped forward, offering her the bouquet. She stumbled back, refusing to take it, but her hands seemed to move on their own. The moment her fingers touched the roses, a sharp pain shot through her chest, and everything went black. When she woke, she was in her bed. The morning light streamed through the curtains, and for a brief, hopeful moment, she thought it had all been a nightmare. But when she opened her front door, the red rose was there, waiting for her. No matter what Lila did, the loop repeated. Each day brought the same rose, the same eerie silence, the same haunting figure in her garden. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months. Her memories blurred as she lost track of time. One day, desperate, she finally approached the figure. "What do you want from me?" she cried. The figure raised a hand, pointing to the roses. As she looked closer, Lila noticed something she had missed before. Carved into the petals, barely visible, were words. They formed a message. "You chose this." The realization hit her like ice. This wasn't someone else's doing. She had made a choice, some forgotten decision that had bound her to this endless cycle. And as the figure stepped back into the shadows, leaving her alone once more, Lila realized the truth. There was no escape. The roses, the loop, the silence, it would all begin again.